Hello, I'm Scott Ryan. Thank you for joining me. It's hilarious to see grown men defend this guy, Mitt Romney, and actually contend that he's a conservative. It's a preposterous contention that has no basis in reality whatsoever. It reminds me of watching the Obama sycophant media in 2008. They spoke of all the things that he was going to do someday, as they projected onto Obama what they wanted him to be. All the while, those of us in the Republican Party said, where's his track record? He did nothing as a state representative. He did nothing as a state senator, except for voting present as a state senator in Illinois. And what did we repeatedly say about Obama? We said that Obama is running on a speech because he had no record of accomplishments. Now, in this case, with Romney, Mitt Romney, he does have a political track record, but it is so bad that he too is running on a speech. The thing about it is that everywhere he goes, the speech consists of the same platitudes about knowing what it's like to have signed both sides of a check. And I was a businessman. And that's what the Mitt Romney followers say every time. That we need somebody with business experience who can fix the economy. Now that's really the only thesis behind the Romney campaign. But when Romney says things like he created Staples, in response to some of the questions raised about his experience at Bain, when he says he created Staples, for example, it's misleading. I believe Bain was a minority investor. I think he said that they contributed about 10% of the capital towards Staples, most likely expansion. But it's not as though Mitt Romney is this business genius who thought up this idea of an office supply store that would take on Office Depot. He didn't wake up one day, light bulb, I'm going to take over Office Depot. I've got the whole business plan in my mind. No, that's not the way that the VC industry or venture capital industry works. They provide the financing to promising companies that already exist in the early stage, hoping for their payday in the form of an IPO. They're investors and they are bankers with an equity stake and an exit strategy. The exit strategy in venture capital is of paramount importance. They're looking for a liquidity event, which is usually, as in the case of Staples, an IPO. They're not in it for the long term, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to try to make it appear as though he's got this great business insight, it just isn't, it's not the case. But people who regurgitate the Romney propaganda, for the most part, don't know anything about the VC or the investment banking world. And it's, it all sounds good in fantasy. But since when is legislative wisdom the concomitant of a good stock picker? You can be both, but one is not necessarily accompanied by the other. They're vastly different. Think about it. If the ability to pick stocks proficiently, whether you're talking publicly traded or privately held, if being good at that led automatically to political perspicacity, then Warren Buffett, instead of just being known as the Oracle of Omaha, would also have the moniker Sage of Washington. George Soros, Carl Icahn, these guys understand business extremely well, and they're more successful than Mitt Romney ever was. Actually, Romney is kind of like the poor man's Soros or the poor man's Icahn, who are billionaires doing what they do. So where is the gravity? Where is the credibility in that very empty contention upon which this entire Romney campaign rests? I mean, we are asked to totally obliterate our memory and reality of Romney's past in government. We are asked to overlook at all the fact that he is a leftist, the fact that he has been on the wrong side of the fundamental tenets of our party, Republican Party platform. That's a lot to ask. Because based on the evidence, Mitt Romney took his talents to govern the state of Massachusetts after he accumulated his wealth of business experience when he retired from Bain Capital. If being the great stock picker made him unique from other big government liberals who come right from the investment banking world, as does he, then why did he invest? Why did he create this disastrous, harebrained scheme that is Obamacare? Why? I have seen the most rancorous, I have seen the most acrimonious things written and said about Newt Gingrich, focusing on very few things from his past. And we are asked to focus on those minor details from Gingrich's past, yet we're supposed to overlook the vast majority of what Mitt Romney has done in the past. Why is Mitt Romney any different than George Soros? Soros and Romney obviously have a mutual love for socialized medicine. Soros and Romney have both been liberal in their past until it was politically expedient to take the opposite position and have a sudden metamorphosis on everything that he ever believed before then. I rest my case. I have asked all of the apologists for Mitt Romney to give me a compelling argument as to why I should overlook the vast history, political history of Mitt Romney, and overlook it, just take it, what he says now, at face value, despite his record of passionately being pro-abortion, anti-gun, for gay marriage, for socialized medicine. I'm supposed to overlook the fact that he is every bit as compelling when he's on the opposite side of an issue as he is on his current position. I asked these people, give me a compelling argument, substantive, as to why I should trust Mitt Romney, why I should vote for him over the conservatives who actually have a record. Nobody can give me an answer. It's always followed by acrimonious comments about Newt Gingrich or Santorum, focusing on diminutive aspects of the larger body of work and proper context that they have as conservatives, proven in government. I can't get a satisfactory answer. I can't get any substance. All I get is name calling and platitudes, the same ones. He's a businessman, therefore he can fix the economy. Sorry, we have a track record. We know what this businessman did with this harebrained scheme when he left Bain with all his accumulation of business experience. We know how it applied. So don't tell me that all of a sudden he's had a metamorphosis and this time it's going to be different. And they've been clearly trying to paint Gingrich and Santorum as liberals. And it just doesn't fly. If you look at the body of their work, it's preposterous, especially when you compare the trespasses against everything in our platform that is in Romney's background and compared to the body of work of Gingrich and how he made some little mistakes like doing a commercial with Nancy Pelosi. Those were concerns of mine, but when I look at these candidates, Gingrich or Santorum are the only choice. And you want to talk about Gingrich's extramarital affairs in his past, and you want to point those out, those things are important to me. But when I put it in context, I remember living through it. I remember how Gingrich had the integrity to bow out because he put the good of the country ahead of himself. They wanted Bill Clinton to bow out, believe me. Many did. But he fought. It's just like this clown in South Carolina, this governor in South Carolina. He tried to fight it, the former governor. There are many politicians who look out for themselves and will fight it. Newt did not do that. And I know people who know Newt, and I am a sinner myself, saved by the grace of God. And all I know emphatically is that Newt has confessed his sins. He has acknowledged them. And I have to take at face value his contrition. I have no reason not to. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan.